This video demonstrates the double chain bind off. Now I am already partially along, so this is going to be the repetitive motion that you're doing. When you have one stitch on your right hand needle, and you will be repeating what I use in my directions or my patterns as steps 2 through 5 in the double chain bind off. So I've got my one stitch on this needle as I've been doing the bind off all along. I am going to do a yarn over. I am then going to bring my yarn in front and work a purl stitch, but I'm going to work that purl stitch wrapping my yarn clockwise around the needle and taking it off. So I now have my stitch, my yarn over, and my purl stitch wrapped clockwise. I am going to bind off by taking that yarn over in the middle first over the stitch that I just created, and I now have 2 stitches on the needle. I am now going to take that first stitch and bind it off. And I now once again have 1 stitch on my right hand needle. Repeating, I am going to yarn over, purl clockwise, pass the yarn over the stitch, pass the first stitch over the stitch. And this becomes quite a meditative bind off. It might feel a little bit sort of fiddly at first, but once you're in a motion and in a rhythm, you'll find yourself doing yarn over, clockwise, bind off, and bind off. And I'm doing this in a bit of a slow motion here, but you'll find that it becomes very meditative as you go. And it might take a couple inches for that to happen. It doesn't always happen right away. But once your hands get into the rhythm, it's almost a dance with your hands. So a little bit about this bind off. I'm using it here on a cowl to be named later that I've created for the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival 2025. And this is in a fingering weight. So what you'll see here is that on the right side of the work, there's not much to be seen. It's a chain bind off. On the wrong side, you'll see more of a defined line. Now, because of those yarn overs in the middle of the 2 bind off stitches, you have a little bit more stretchiness, flexibility. You don't have a bind off that is likely to be done too tightly. And so part of the reason is that this cowl has a fair amount of lace texture, and when it blocks, this is just a really nice bind off to have. Obviously you can use whatever bind off you want. You can bind off in pattern, but I liked how this bind off looks. I like how if you have it sort of showing on either side, it has a nice look to it that's somewhat rounded. I used this bind off for the first time on my shearing day shawl, and I'm going to show you that next because it's the same bind off. It has a bit of a different look to it because this is a heavier yarn. This is a DK weight yarn, and it's Corriedale, so it's very squishy. And what you'll see here, and the reason I first chose it for this pattern, is because it almost looks like an icord bind off with significantly less work to it. And so in this shawl, I had a number of different textures, and I had some garter ridges here, and I just really liked the way that it mirrored the garter ridges. It looked like an icord bind off with less work, and I wasn't just doing it because it was less work. It also uses less yarn, and this pattern shearing day shawl maximizes your yardage, so it helped with that as well. And you can see it sort of gives it that nice look all around. Now when you do finish it in a shawl like this, what you'll see is you really need the blocking to make sure that it will lie flat and not roll or curl. And there's instructions in the shearing day shawl pattern that tell you how to check for that early on as you're going so that you can adjust if you need to. But as you can see, and I wear this all the time, when I have this flat on a table, it doesn't curl. It just sits here with a very nice tension all the way through. So same bind off, 2 different weight yarns. In some cases, different fibers. I've worked this cowl for Vermont in a few different fibers, but it's just a nice bind off to add to your collection or toolbox of bind offs. Again, it's called the double chain bind off, and it's very easy. It only takes a little bit more time to work than a standard bind off, and it gives you something that you can use when you're looking for something with a little bit more stretch to it, but not loose or sloppy looking. I hope you enjoyed that video, and thanks for watching.